focus at the Bureau, former FBI director. By the way, we welcome him to our Fox family once again, the newest Fox News contributor. He's back, the one and only Dan Bongino. You come at this, Dan, first of all, as a friend, number one, number two, but also having now recently spent time on the inside. And it's so easy for people on the sidelines, Monday morning quarterbacks, to be second-guessing everything law enforcement is doing. However, I do think a definitive statement like we mentioned, the FBI says they are unaware that Savannah Guthrie was talking with her mom's suspected kidnappers, means they know everything about the communications to this point. What is likely in your mind going on behind the scenes?
Okay, so the FBI was brought in a couple days after. There was, you have to have a request for assets to be brought in, or you have to have federal jurisdiction. This was done by request. That's why you saw the crime scene was reopened again. That was the FBI ERT, from what I've heard, going back in, the evidence response team, to take over and do what they do. They do it best. That's all they do, is process evidence at these scenes. So what's going on right now? I see three possibilities, Sean, and I'm not going to weight them. These are three possibilities. If you apply Occam's razor, I see could apply. The first would be, obviously, it's a kidnapping. That was an intended kidnapping for a ransom payment. That would be the first possibility. Again, I'm not weighting any of them. The second possibility would be this was just a crime that went awry. Someone was at the house. Maybe it was a burglary. Maybe something went bad, and that you've got some bad actors committing another crime unrelated, in other words, requesting a ransom for something you didn't do just to take advantage of a situation like this. The third possibility, again, this is and this is where I think you have to kind of think outside of the box, is, especially given some of the messaging that we've seen lately, is the possibility that there may have been some kind of maybe a medical emergency or something, and maybe this was not a kidnapping. And I say that only because, and again, I'm not weighting these possibilities. We're just, when you can't find someone at a crime scene like this right away within the first couple of days, you either have really good surgical type operators, or the story you've been told or you may have believed may not be the story. I mean, think about it. What are the possibilities that there's no LPR trips, license plate readers, that Somex scrubs, social media exploitation turned up nothing, that cast analysis, cell phone analysis, that there's other tools I don't want to really talk about, but I promise they're there. We've used them in cases, that none of this stuff was tripped after the Bureau came in and applied all their assets. It's just, it seems really strange.
Let me quote veteran FBI Special Agent Lance Lysing of Arizona. And he said the notes to the media outlets, that part of the investigation now he believes is come and gone. And then he said, in legitimate ransom cases, kidnappers move fast. They establish leverage quickly. Communication begins within hours, not days, of an abduction. Proof of life is produced early and often. This case has not followed the history of a typical kidnapping at all. What does that tell you?
Well, there's two conflicting points on this. One, as I told you before, with this relatively what appears to be sterile crime scene, you would have these incredibly skilled, and I don't mean that, of course, in a qualitatively good way, but they have these criminal skill sets that they were able to not leave a trace of DNA, a footprint, a fingerprint, a tire print. Again, they didn't trip a license plate reader, managed to turn off any cell phone type of activity, and then you forget the medication. It just, again, it doesn't seem like that's particularly well thought out. How are you going to go out and get the medication afterwards? It's not that easy to go pop in a Walgreens when you know everybody on planet Earth is looking for someone. I mean, it just seems like a lot of conflicting information. And that's why I say I'm not weighting any of those stories. But clearly at this point, I think we have to consider everything outside the box, because whatever's inside the box is not really panning out right now.
What do you say to the FBI experts that I've talked to, the Sheriff's Department out there, that they're not ruling anything out? And I want to be very clear. I'm not rushing to judgment. I don't want people to rush to judgment. We don't do that on this show. We make a point of not doing that. But 90% of abductions usually involve someone that the abducted person knows, and a lot of times that ends up being family. Now, Those are the odds. I'm not making any conclusions, any accusations at all, just to the contrary. I think we need to be very careful. But those numbers are real. So if you're an FBI agent, that is in your head, correct?
Yeah, I mean, you got to consider that. I believe that was scenario number 2 I discussed, that this was an incident that went bad, someone who knew the person, like you said, landscaper, electrician. We had a case in Florida like this before I was in the FBI, way before, but a woman had let a handyman in the house. They found the woman in the septic system. I mean, you have to consider that it was someone in the inner circle as well, that it was a horrible crime. We don't know what happened, and that the distraction may be, in fact, a request for ransom later on to get people off the trail. I'm not telling you it's what happened, but again, when the story doesn't pan out after a couple of days, and I've been on these, Sean, I mean, we handled the Minnesota shooting of the lawmakers. You know, we had the incident up in Coeur d'Alene. I mean, we get woken up, me and Cash, all night on this stuff. I know the assets that get deployed. If you don't find them within the first couple of days, there's something about the story that's not right.
Yeah, it's scary. We're always glad to have you back on the show. Welcome back to our Fox family. It's always great to have you here. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.